because you did mention Beyonce, I would like to bring up the fact that, Alice was the first Black woman to pen a number one song on the country charts, Patricia Year
Yep.
with X's and O's. And just recently, like literally this week, Beyonce became the first Black female artist to score a number one hit on the Hot 100 charts. That's a country song.
Yep.
So when you think about it from 1994, the Trisha Yearwood song, to 2024, you know, what goes through your mind when you hear that the difference between the years, given that you're in this field and you have been working to help, spotlight some of these issues or include some of these different artists.
She's well, first of all, I mean, I think it's awesome, and I'm glad for her. Um, but I think anybody that's keeping score can see that that's really kind of, can I cuss on your
Go
show? It's bullshit. Like it's complete and total bullshit that it's taken, like, how long has the Billboard charts been around? And no Black woman ever has not had a number one until 2024. Like the first Black woman charted in 1968, and that was Linda Martell. And we've had women, 8 other women chart, including Beyonce, and it took that long, and y'all don't see a problem? It's problematic as hell. Like, I think that, to me, in the celebration of Beyonce, I think there's also a deeper conversation that needs to be had, and it's like, why? And I saw Variety, a writer by the name of Chris Willman, who, bless his heart, I think people misconstrue what I wrote, because, like, he wrote a really great article, and he didn't deserve to be jumped on like he was in the comments. And I was trying to defend him, but um, I wasn't mad at Chris. I was mad at the people that he got on record. They were saying, a bunch of radio programmers said that, they're eager to have a Black woman in the format. It's just that they have never met one that had the right song or the right charisma or the right voice. And that's a crock of shit. Like, if you just look at all of the women that have come, shoot, if you just look at the 8 that have charted, not one of those were deserving of a number one. Not one. And if you look at all the women that have attempted and have tried and have sent music to radio and have been signed, none of them, none of them. I love Beyonce. I like Beyonce and all that, but like, so it was just her. Got you. So it's country music has a bigger question, and I hope that in this conversation that's being had on a national level, that we can actually have that conversation too, because it's not just a Beyonce situation. It's a what's happening at country radio, what's happening at these record labels that is producing this result.
So from the outside looking in, right? Well, like you said, do you think Beyonce in this recent achievement will help, shed light and also ask the questions as to why?
I
Um,
think, I mean, but if we, no, I only think it'll do that if we ask the right questions. Like, a lot of people are not asking the right questions. Like, everyone is making this a Beyonce centric thing. And so if that's all this is, then that's all the conversation is going to be.
what are some questions that you would like to be asked in the scheme of
Um,
things?
what would I like to be asked? Well, you know what? I don't think it's a me question. Like, I don't think it's a question that you need to ask the artist. I think it's a question you need to ask the industry. I think that people need to be taking these programmers to task. Like, after you make a statement like that, okay, well then what was the problem with the last 20 women that came into your office? Are you actively scouring the internet? Like, just like you said, you didn't have to be serviced Beyonce's record, you could just find it on the internet. Are you actively looking on the internet to break new artists? Because, like, this isn't even like a Black woman problem. This is an artist problem. Like if radio can make such a drastic decision about Beyonce, then it calls into question everything that they have always told artists to do. When you are servicing a record to country radio, you are expected to service the record, like send it, put into a system, and it's delivered to all the reporting stations. You are expected to go and visit these radio stations. You are expected to have a regional or a national radio representative or promoter regularly calling the radio station to see where the record is at and what's going on and when are you going to add it and blah, blah, blah. You're expected to do free shows sometimes for these radio stations as promotions. You're expected to do a lot as an artist and like go above and beyond. Like I used to write handwritten thank you notes to every radio station that we went to, that we visited. And or emails. Thank you so much for playing the record. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for letting me just come in and eat pizza in your boardroom. And that sort of thing. And if all it takes is for you to just drop it and they can pull it off the internet and see how it goes, then why are we jumping through all these hoops? That's everybody, white, black, men, woman, everybody. Like everybody should have a lot of questions right now.
And there you go. There you go. It kind of reminded me of everything that you said. It kind of reminded me of something that Mickey had said in the For the Love of Country documentary when Black Like Me had came out. She was like, it took a man dying to get noticed.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of, well, we've seen it. It shifted a lot of people's perspective across, the nation.
Mhm.
But I do think you asked very fair and questions, because even for her to say that, on record, and we've seen, at least from the outside looking in, what has happened, over recent years, the recognition, the attention to Black Lives Matter, all of that stuff. And again, if we go back just to the genre, with Beyonce, like you said, what has been going on for all of these years, so it's something to be highlighted, something to be addressed and questioned. And we're gonna see how it goes. Because
Yeah, we
everything
gonna
presented is fair. Like there's nothing is out of pocket, nothing is, unobtainable. It's just, be fair. Do what you say
exactly.
you're doing.
Exactly. And like, and again, that's not a dig at Beyonce. It's more so a dig at the industry because it's just like, well, I even question now, like, what is the, there's so much. Like, it's just like, okay, so Texas Hold'em plays on the radio and you are a brand new listener and you're listening specifically because you want to hear Beyonce, right? So you now are listening to your local country radio station and Texas Hold'em goes off and you're like, okay, yeah, that was my girl. Like I heard my song. The next 7 songs that you're going to hear are all from white men. So like radio's not even set up to retain the people that are coming for Beyonce. There's no other black female voices that are on the chart. You can't find them. They're not there. And there's barely white women on the radio. So like none of this is set up to retain or maintain or sustain this influx of new fans. So like when Beyonce goes, they're going to go too. And the business is going to stay exactly the way that it is. And that's a problem.